Here in AIT, the environment is truly international and multicultural, as people who work, study, and live here come from more than 30 countries across Asia and other continents. That's why I have plenty of chances to make new friends and learn about their cultures. The learning experience here in AIT helps students to achieve their full academic potential. The classes here have become a stage for students from different cultural and knowledge backgrounds to discuss issues that matter globally.
Being here, I was inspired by the Institute's goal of creating innovative solutions. My research focuses on novel green 3R biotechnology that recycles, reduces, and reuses our wastes. I am certain that the research findings we are doing here at AIT can potentially be applicable globally to make people's lives and environment better and to achieve sustainable development goals.
Social impact has been AIT's legacy and is still our positioning today. Social impact permeates our research and our education. We're injecting more innovation and multidisciplinary thinking in our research. We're engaging in more collaboration with globally prestigious universities, including dual degree programs. We're making AIT more relevant by broadening and deepening our network of businesses and NGOs and governments for the benefit of research, internship, and job placement. And we're nurturing entrepreneurship and service learning as part of AIT's experiential education.
A distinctive feature of our teaching and research programs is their close alignment with some of the major global challenges facing humanity. For example, climate change, energy, food, water security, technology, public policy mismatch, and human-machine fusion. Now, given the innate complexity of these challenges that defy straightforward explanations, our teaching and research programs emphasize multidisciplinarity, cross-thematic considerations, and pragmatic insights into the role of emerging technologies in broader socio-economic contexts.
We are working with many universities and governmental organizations in research collaboration and outreach activities. Some of our research findings have already been translated into new government regulations, new engineering standards and practice, and new engineering applications and tools. And I believe our long-term effort has created significant social and economic impact for communities in the region.
We believe that our main role is to produce experts who are truly global citizens who can think globally and act locally. Our School of Environment, Resource and Development takes an interdisciplinary approach to study, analyze, and solve global and regional sustainable development challenges, such as social and gender inequalities, rights and sustainability, urbanization and migration, food security, energy and environment, natural resources, and climate change.
The best management schools in the world are based on a strong industry involvement with leaders coming from around the world. It's also a place where a culture of innovation is encouraged. At our School of Management, that is the culture we're trying to encourage, with regular interaction with organizations and business schools where teaching staff and faculty come from around the world. No idea is discarded, and a multidisciplinary approach where collaboration with other schools is supported.
The Entrepreneurship Center is supporting AIT students, its faculty and alumni, to transform their ideas into tangible outcomes such as prototypes, business plans, and startup companies. We aim to bring our experienced AIT alumni and successful entrepreneurs back to the campus to share their experience and stories, and to work with our students and faculty to build their dreams here at AIT.
It's not only the knowledge and subject in the classroom, but the way of thinking. Because when we come to work, it's not exactly as it happened in the books. So having AIT experience, so we look at this like a way of life, and I can find many solutions to overcome the obstacle, the problem. And also another thing is initiation. This is the very important thing for the success in the working life.
In my personal career, with the knowledge that I have gained from the Asian Institute of Tech.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome everyone to the second series of RSGIS-AIT webinar. We're very thankful to the organizing team who is behind the preparation and arrangement of every session. This is Sindhu Rangani, Master Student RS and GIS, and the MC of today's webinar, and joining with me as well as Mr. Samitha. May I request Mr. Samitha to briefly introduce himself.
Hello everyone, good afternoon. So my name is Samitha Daranagama and I am a graduating master student from RSGIS. And I'm glad to here in this event as a moderator with Dr. Chudech Losiri and also with Sindhu. So thank you.
Thank you, Samitha. Today's session topic is on GIS and urbanization, the role of geoinformatics to monitor the urban growth. We are grateful that we have an alumni of RSGIS department who will be sharing his knowledge on this topic. He is Dr. Chudech Losiri, currently Assistant Professor in Srinakharinwirot University. He has a Bachelor of Science in Geography and has Masters and PhD from RSGIS-AIT in 2017. His research focuses on urban remote sensing, land use modeling, urban settlement, and human geography. He is expert in feature extraction and image classification, and also have contributed to several teaching and research projects. Let us all welcome our speaker, Dr. Chudech Losiri.
Yes,
welcome.
Thank you. Yep. Thank you for inviting me to give introduce my research on the applications of the geoinformatics to monitor the urban growth. So can I share the screen? Yes. Yeah. Today, the topic that I'm going to talk about to you is the role of the geoinformatics to monitor the urban growth. This is the interest topic that I have done a lot of research on this area. So why we have to focus on the urban area? Because the urban area is a human settlements with the high populations and infrastructures, and also the urban area are created through the urbanization process and categorized by the urban morphology as a cities, town, conurbations, and suburb. And in terms of the urbanisms, the term contrasts to the rural areas such as the villages, hamlets, and in urban sociologies and urban anthropologies, it contrasts with the natural environments. And the creations of the early predecessor of the urban area during the urban revolutions lead to the creations of the human civilization with the modern urban plannings, along with the other human activities such as the exploitations of the natural resources leads to the human impacts on the environments. Why we have to focus in the urban area? Because the urban area is the situation of the several topics in terms of the administrative. Like this area is situated as the central point to issue the policy, making and strategies. And in terms of the economics, this area is the cluster of the business and commercial activities. And in terms of the social and cultural aspects, this area also is the, is the cluster of the news, like a new social life, and also the new creativity in terms of the cultures. And this area also situates or originates of the new technology and inventions. To go in details about the urban growth, we have to understand about the term of the urbans. In this case, I can divide the term of the urban into two parts. The first one that is called the urban growth and another one that is called the urbanizations. In terms of the urban growth is the hours and physical developments of a town or a cities into the surrounding countryside and the spreading of the built-up area. It means that if you would like to see the urban growth, in this case, you can see like a man-made physical construction surrounded by you. That is the means of the urban growth. Why the urban has been growth? Because if you see from this slide, it can divide into two parts. The first one that is called the put factor, and the second one that is called the pull factors. In terms of the put factor, like in the countryside, they have a lack of the employments and also the overpopulations and the poor crop use are also the put factor that makes the people leave the countryside into the urban area. And in terms of the push factor, in the cities or in the urban zone have the better paid jobs in the cities and expected the high standards of living and more reliable foods. And also the people who migrate to the town and city tend to be young and so have the high birth rate in that age range. And also in the city or in the urban zones have a better medical conditions compared to the countryside, means more the success births and better life expectancies. The second one is the urbanization term. The urbanization term is the process by which the population of the city grows based on the two factors. The first factor that is the increase in the number of the people living in the cities. And the second one that is the increase in the percentage of the people living in the cities. And the two factors occur in the different regions and have different global distributions. As you can see for the image, that is show the urbanization in 2001 compared with the projected urbanization in 2015. It means that nowadays many people also locate in the urban area, and in the future, the number of the people who live in the urban area will dramatically increase in terms of the urban developments, also in terms of the urban plannings and new technology that's overcome in that area. That is the urbanization situations. But in terms of the Bangkok or Krungthep Mahanakhon, Thailand, as you can see for the image, you can see that the number of the people who live in this area continuous increase from 1950 to 2030. Like as you can see that many people will situate in in Bangkok, that is the administrative cities of Thailand. To study about the urban phenomena, so in this case, we try to make the city in terms of the sustainability. So if we concerned about the sustainable city, we have to focus on the three topics, like in terms of the environmental developments, social developments, and also economic developments. That the geoinformatics will overcome this kind of the information to make a better understanding about the sustainable cities. In our knowledge about the geoinformatics, the geoinformatics is an indication knowledge. That is an indication knowledge and informations obtained from the remote sensing GNSS and GIS. And this technology also include data in terms of the database, like the spatial database, cartographics. And also to apply the geoinformatics, we have to get into detail about the theory, such as the spatial models, spatial algorithms, and spatial listenings to apply it, and to make the decisions in several applications in the urban regions. Now, I'm gonna focus on the geoinformatics technique to monitor the urban expansions. If you, as you see, there are a lot of the knowledge in terms of the geoinformatics. The remote sensing is one of the techniques that we can utilize is to monitor the urban growth and urban expansions. As you see the meaning of the remote sensing is a science and art of obtaining about the information on the Earth's surface to the sensor without directly contact to the targets or objects, but use the electromagnetics as the medium to obtain. To use the remote sensing in terms of the urban application, you have to concern about the important characteristic of the remote sensing. For monitoring the urban growth analysis, like you have to concern about the spectral characteristic, spatial characteristic, and also temporal characteristics. As you can see from this image, it means that to apply the remote sensing in the urban application, you have to concern about the satellite orbit, like a sun-synchronous orbits and also geostationary data, which kind of the satellite orbit that you can utilize the remote sensing data. And also you have to think about the sensing system, like in the remote sensing. The method of obtaining the remote sensing data can divide into two parts. The first one that is called the passive sensor, and the second one that is called the active sensor. If you understand about the sensor system, it means that you're gonna select the best web range to apply in terms of the urban studies. And another thing that I already mentioned, you have to concern about the sensing resolutions, like to apply the remote sensing to monitor the urban growth or urban expansions or urbanization process in that area. You have to concern about the spatial resolution. That is mean what is the best spatial resolution to study to monitor the urban expansion. And also with spectral resolution, radiometric resolution, and temporal resolutions are suitable to studies. For the remote sensing techniques for the urban study, in this case, you can utilize the remote sensing technique to monitor the urban study, but you also have to concern about this topic. First of all, you have to concern about the remote sensing for the urban area. And the second, you have to concern about the algorithm and techniques for the urban attribute extractions. And the third is the urban socioeconomics analysis. And the last one is the urban goals and landscape change modeling. But before you go in detail, the first thing that you have to concern is the scale dependence in the urban analysis. Why we have to concern about the scale dependence? Because the scale dependence will give the detailed information of the urban analysis in its units. And also the scale dependence of the urban analysis will tell about the amount of the data and also tell about the way to select the appropriate resolutions of satellites to analyze and to monitoring. To use the remote sensing to monitor the urban growth, first of all, you have to define the research questions. Like if you would like to study about the urban expansion, or if you would like to study about the urban modeling, you have to set the question before you go in detail. And after you set the question, you have to think about the data that you can acquire or you can collect in several ways. Like you can go to in the field and collect the urban data, or you can use like the remote sensing data, or you can use the secondary data that obtained from other organizations. And after that, by using the remote sensing, you have to concern about the image processing techniques. Like you have to concern about the way to process the data, like a geometric correction, radiometric correction, and also some work you have to use like a radiometric enhancement, spatial enhancement to improve the quality of the image and also to extract some informations. And after you get like the remote sensing, especially in the urban information data, and then you have to go to the change detection to see how does it change, how does it occur in that area. And after that, or the last periods, you have to think about the way to interpret and analyze of the data. That is show the workflow of the urban spatial growth monitoring by using the remote sensing. To go in detail, as I mentioned, for the four topic that you have to concern. The first one that you have to think about the remote sensing, that is the remote sensing system. As you can see from the picture, before you apply the remote sensing data to study the urban or to monitoring the urban expansion, you have to think about the sensor. In this case, you have to think that to identify the urban change or monitoring the urban expansions of the city, which kind of the sensor that you gonna utilize. You can use optic sensor from the Landsat spot and also TORs, and also some high resolution image like a worldwide view by obtaining from the optic sensor. Or you can use a non-optic sensor, the information that you gathering from the spaceborne radar, or you can use the airborne radar racer to get the information about the urban in the different spectral informations. And after that, this kind of the information optic sensor and non-optic sensor can fuse to improve the quality of the data. And after that, you can use that one to process for the urban monitorings. This image that is showed we can use the MODIC data to generate the land cover map in the low resolution scale. If you would like to monitor the land use and land cover change in the global scale, in this case, you have to concern about which kind of the data that you can gathering the whole area of the earth in 1 or 2 days. And then you can apply and utilize this information to monitoring the land use and land cover change, especially in the urban zone. And another thing that is you can use the medium satellites or medium resolution satellite from the Landsat and spot data. This is the conventional way that you can use it to monitor the urban change in terms of the regional or the provincial level of the urban monitoring studies. And nowadays, the space information is going to go to the advanced in terms of the high spatial resolution sensor. In this case, you can utilize the high spatial resolution from the GOI digital growth company Worldview 1, Worldview 2, and also you can use the satellite from the ComSat or RSP to capture the information in terms of the high resolution image. That is the advantage of the high resolutions. And one thing that you have to consider, if you would like to get the information in terms of the urban attribute extraction. If you would like to get the urban attribute extraction, it means that you have to use some specific algorithm and techniques and use the remote sensing data to capturing the informations. Before we go in the detail, you have to concern about the land use versus the land cover. As you know, the land cover is a physical and biological cover of the Earth's surface, including the artificial surface agriculture area, forest area, or the natural area, wetland and water bodies. And in terms of the land use is the territory characteristic according to its current and future plan function, dimensions, or the socio-economic purpose of the land. These are the two terms that you have to make to understand before you apply the remote sensing data to study the urban growth, because one thing is the function and one thing is the subsequent definitions of the land use. And another thing that you have to concern, that is the approximate diver of the land use and land cover. As you can see from the table, it means that the land use and land cover gonna convert from one land use and land cover class to the other class. There are also many drivers to convert the land use. The first thing that is the driver that is called the population growth. As a region population grows, the new residents need a house as well as a place to work and shop. In a region with the decline accelerating populations, there will be more new constructions of house and business centers to satisfy the demands. That is the first driver. And the second driver is economic growth in the area that occurred a booming regional economy. It will result in the constructions of the new commercial and industrial building to house that activities. As the economic grows, the new job will create and extract the worker. That is lead to the population growth and also leading to the constructions of the new homes and place to shop. As the income of the people who live in and older house vacants. And the third driver is called the demographics. The demographic, that is the demographic driver. The average number of the people living in the household has been decreased over time. Therefore, more housing units are needed to house the same number of the people. The number of the retired household is increasing and the household tend to have the new member. Meanwhile, the proportions of the new white house is also increased. These households tend to have more members on average than the white household. And another driver that is called the agriculture and forest production price. A change in the price of the agriculture or forest production products can affect the landowner decisions where to keep the lands in those use. The policy aim to support the agriculture price, provide an increase to keep the land in the farms. And the last driver that is called region and local planning and policy. Like some area, they have some planning policy to take place in specific area. It means that if that one take place into that area, it's gonna occur the land use and land cover change on that one as well. Another thing that you have to concern that is the spatial scale in land use and land cover. As I mentioned, the units of the land use and land cover analysis have several. If your study unit have the several, if you have the several unit of the analysis, it means that you have to select the appropriate sensor. You have to select the appropriate spatial solutions, and you have to select the appropriate temporal revisits or temporal solution to study. Like if you would like to study the urban change in the global scale, in this case, you have you can study about the land cover degradations in terms of the land use mapping, land cover mappings, land use and land cover change detection, and you can use the remote sensing data to monitor the land use and land cover monitoring. But in this case, you have to specific sensor. Like you have to apply the MODIC data or the NORA-VHRR to utilize and to analyze the urban phenomena in the global scale. If you would like to identify or to make the urban characteristic in the local scale, like if you have the objects to monitor like the urban expansions, utilize the remote sensing or the geoinformatic techniques for the city plannings, or you can apply the geoinformatic technique for the land use and land cover change detection or encroachment analysis, or land use and land cover change assessment based on the multi-criteria decision tree. Or you can monitor like demographic profiles and find the relationship with the land use and land cover assessments. Or you can apply for the land use and land cover characterizations and mapping in the reprised zones or impervious surface area mapping. So in this case, you have to think about the remote sensing in the 5 scale. Like you can pick up the Landsat data, Aster data, spot data with the medium resolution or high resolution, and also with the medium temporal revisit to monitor this kind of the information. That is show the applications of the remote sensing in terms of the local. And one thing that after you get the remote sensing data, the conventional method to obtain about the land use and land cover or obtain the urban urban land use mapping that is called the image classification techniques. The classifications of the image has been mostly carried out by the per pixel method that is called the supervised classification, in which land cover classes are typically mapped from the digital remote sensing data to the process of supervised digital image classifications. And the overall objective of the image classification produced is automatically categorize all the pixel in an image to the land cover class or the teams. But they have also the class, like they have also some problem like a mixed pixel problem, particularly for the specific class. Like as I mentioned, in terms of the type of the classifier using in the remote sensing. In this case, you can apply like a conventional method, like unsupervised classification and supervised classification to classify the land use and land cover. If you pay attention in terms of the unsupervised classification, it means that in this case, you can apply like K-mean methods, spectral clustering, and also the ISO data method to classify the land use and land cover image in the area that you don't have the experience on that one. But if you have some basic background knowledge or some experience on that area, so in this case, you have to go in detail about the unsupervised classification techniques. In the unsupervised classification technique, it can divide into two parts that is called the statistical techniques and also the distribution field. The first one that is called the statistical technique, like this one or this technique is based on the probability distribution model. Like in this case, you can apply the maximum likelihood classification, minimum distance to the means, parallel pi, or non-parametric, like a percent window technique to classify the land use and land cover or extract the urban information from the remote sensing data. And the second technique that is called the distribution field, like with the novel or new image classification technique, like a neural network, a member methods, or decision tree, or support vector machine. This one can overcome like some new novel and to get more and more accurate of the utilizations of the supervised classification method. This slide is show the category of the image classification. Like if you gonna apply the image classification to extract the urban or the land use and land cover class, you can apply like a per pixel based classifier techniques. You can apply the supervised based classifier techniques in terms of the spectral value of each pixel have some linear or non-linear combination on that area. And also if you use like the high resolution image, in this case, you can apply the object-oriented classifications or some person that is called OBIA, like or object-based image analysis to classify like the high spatial resolution or to extract the the building or some specifics like a man-made environment that you can see clear directly from the image. And another one that is called the per-field-based classifier. Like in this case, you can use like a GIS, as the important techniques and integrate the GIS and raster data and vector data in the classification method. Like if you have like somebody from the GIS database, it means that you can use that one as a training data. You can use the shape or the area of that one is a training data, and after that you will get the spectral information and use that spectral information that you form from the GIS database as the training data to classify the informations. As I go in detail about the object-based image classification, or called the OBIA. The OBIA is an approach to classify the high-resolution remote sensing imagery, and that is currently see increased use due to the proliferations of the image with the small pixel size and the conventional pixel-based methods, while used in the classify the correct scale remote sense imagery are less suitable for classify the high resolution image. So in this case, this is the general picture that you can see right in the websites, or when you classify by yourself, you're gonna see that if this area, if this is the same, like the same object or same area, if you apply in terms of the pixel-based classification, it means that in the same area we classify into the different land use and land cover class. But if you apply the object-based image classification by specify the shape, the size, and make the better of the segmentation method or segmentation criteria, in this case, you're gonna get like the good shape of the result from the OBIA classifications. And another thing that you can use for the urban or built-up land extraction, that is called the spectral index. Nowadays, several study or several research go into the build-up index, because the build-up index is derived to generate the information and evaluate the situations and support pattern of the built-up area from the remote sensing data. In this case, before you apply the urban or spectral index, first of all, you have to understand about the characteristic of the spectral bands of the satellite image. As you can see from the slide, it means that there are several built-up area index that you can apply to extract the built-up land information. So in this case, you're gonna see that most of the equation gonna use like the shortwave infrared regions and also near infrared regions to overcome or to get the information about the urban land extraction. Some parts of the spectral index also use like the red band informations and near infrared band information from the visible range and near infrared range to extract the built-up land extractions. And some person also use like a NDWI index or normalized different water index to get the information or to compare the information with the built-up index as well. That is show nowadays. That's why we have to use the spectral index directly to get the information about the built-up land extractions. Another technique that we can use and we can apply to study about the urban, that is called the LiDAR. The LiDAR, that is the short light, that is the short wavelength from the right. So in this case, you can get the point count of the LiDAR, and after that you can generate the point count of the LiDAR to get like the 3D surface of the area, especially in the urban zone. In that case, you can generate like a 3D building from the point count LiDAR by using like the photogrammetric techniques, and also you can use like the reconstruction image to generate like a digital surface model, digital terrain model, and after that you can get like the 3D building in your study area. And another thing that you have to concern about the radar technique, like in terms of the architecture, the ground-based radar technologies can be used to capture the building structures. And also the digital informations can be transformed to the computer for the architecture to design the house model. That is the advantage of the LiDAR in terms of generating the building structure. And the second one, like the record of the buildings. Like if you use the ground-based radar, can be like the recording of the building. Using the ground-based radar can be record the inside of the house. It can be used to record the interior design tools. It means that like you can use the ground-based radar to generate or to make or to design the inside of your house. This extracted data can be printed on the 3D printer to models inside of the house or the buildings. Or when the building is rebuilt, this recorded information can be used to restore the interior designs. And another one that is going to use in the architecture that is called the BIM, like a building information management. The GIS is a variable tool to help in the planning, organizing, and subsequenting growth in the energy and utilize the industry. The effective management of the energy system in a complex challenge. The GIS has the enormous potential for planning, designs, and maintenance of the facilities. It also provides improved service, and that's to cost the effectively. It means that in terms of the architecture, if you gonna construct if you wanna construct in each story or each layer of the building, you can utilize the GIS technology together with the ground-based LiDAR to construct the layer of the story and go into the detail. You can apply the GIS technique into and export the structure of the buildings. Another advantage of the geoinformatics based on the 3D analysis from the aerial photograph, from the radar or from the ground-based radar, that is called the cyber cities. The cyber city is a virtual replica of the real city in information system, because this one can give the effectiveness of the planning, designs, construction, management, and other applications. And the implications of the cyber city not only copy the geometry and attribute, but also you have to understand the functionalities of the real city as well. More importantly, is also evolved with or without the dependency to the real city or the other cyber cities. To construct the cyber cities, you have to gathering key information. The first one that you have to obtain, that is the topographic map. The second one that you should have, that is called the radar point counts. And the other one that you have to collect, that is called the aerial image. If you have T thing, it means that you can construct the cyber city or 3D information. After you construct the 3D information or cyber city, it means that you're gonna get the 3D environments. And then you can simulate the environments based on different scenario or different conditions. Like in this PowerPoint is show the example about the clear sky of the Taipei cities. Like if in the clear sky conditions, what is about the environmental condition that you're gonna see. But if now, if you can see from the foggy cyber Taipei city, what is the environment conditions. And also you can simulate in terms of the FAT visualization. If you put the lane into the model and you increase the number, you increase the water depths in that area, it means that you're gonna see which area gonna get the effects based on the height or based on the height of the water that go into that area as well. Another one that nowadays that we can use, we can use the city engines, that is the easy, the easy tool or the advantage tool that makes the 3D model of the city easier nowadays. You can construct with the geodatabase informations. After you have the geodatabase in terms of the 2D information, you can then apply the 2D into the 3D. You can construct a 3D street or 3D box, 3D street box and parcel of the land. And after that, you have to make a 3D extraction. You can create the roof and also generations and street furnitures. And after that, you can go to about the texture and facets creations, makes the 3D building as it real as it should be. And the last step, you're gonna get a 3D city based on your information. That's why I told that nowadays to create like a 3D to visualize the environment in the urban area nowadays is quite easy. And another thing that is called the utilize of the remote sensing or geoinformatics to monitor the urban socio-economic analysis and planning. By using the remote sensing data, you can use the remote sensing data to extract the urban land surface temperature analysis. The land surface temperature analysis is an important parameter in understanding the urban thermal environments and its dynamics. The previous research have focused more on the relation between the land surface temps variations and the thermal properties and compositions of the urban structure materials. And the remote sensing data derived can use to extract the biophysical attribute and bringing the greatest potential to parameterize the urban construction material and the composition and structure of the urban canopy, as well as to link with the pixel-based land surface temp measurement in understanding the surface energy budgets and the urban heat island phenomena. We sense advancement in the landscape ecology. The recent advancement in the landscape ecology facilitates the characteristics of the urban surface components and their quality linked to the environment process. Like you can use the landscape ecology facility to monitor the urban heat island effects. In terms of the urban heat island effects, you can see the change of the temperature based on the different land use. As you go into the downtown in this area, you're gonna get like a more and more or high air temperature when you compare with the other area of the land use and land cover class. In the case of the urban heat islands, the local heat built up in an area of the high population density will overcome in the center of the city or in the downtown. And the effect local area current and weather condition also we're gonna get the effects. And this also can contribute to build up of the pollutants and dust dome in the urban zone. This is show the effects of the dust dome based on the high temperature on that area. And also if you have like if the wind take place on that region, it means that the wind gonna flow like the pollution from the urban area to the countryside or into the other area of the urban zone. And this is show the example like in one research they also use like a land surface temperature to monitor the urban temperature change from 1991 to 2016. In this case, this research also take place in the Bangkok metropolitan area of Thailand. You can see that from the image, you're gonna see that the number of the temperature increased year by year. And also you can link like the land surface temperature to monitor in terms of the land use zone. Like if you would like to see the red area in this area, the red color in this area will take place in which zone of the land use and land cover class. So in this case, you're gonna see that the red color gonna take place in the like a medium density residential zone in Bangkok area like this. And another thing, like you can utilize the geoinformatics, like the remote sensing data to estimate the population. The information that you can utilize to estimate the population, that is called the product of the land scan. The land scan use an innovation approach with the geographic information system, which combine like the land scan image combine the information on new novel approach between the remote sensing data and geographic information system to generate the file resolutions of the global population distributions. And in this case, you can get the data, like you can get the data available and represents an ambient population estimate from the remote sensing and GIS information. The data value that generate by the land scan, you're gonna get like the integer population count per 1 square kilometer pixel. So in this case, you can use the land scan information to estimate the density of the people, or to estimate the number of the people living in the urban area as well. This is show the utilizations of the land scan together with the DMSP nighttime. Like if you overlap this kind of the information, you're gonna see that where is the clustering of the people who situate in or who settle or who living in that area as well. And this is also show the land scan together with the DMSP detect light. And another thing, like you can use like the remote sensing or geoinformatics techniques in terms of the socio-economic applications of the nighttime satellite imagery. Like the nighttime satellite imagery that produced by the Defense Meteorological Satellite Program, operational lines scan system, or you can call DMSP-OLS. In this case, the product of the DMSP gonna provide a unique and profound views of the urban area about around the globe. And this kind of the information can capture the radiation preliminary from the writing files, and most important human source such as the city light, lentil fishings, and also gas fry burns. And its applications are the urban extent. Like if you can use the nighttime satellite image, you can use it to monitor the urban extents. You can use it to monitor the populations and also population density. And the last one, and the last example that you can use is to monitor of the carbon dioxide emission from the urban area or from the other area of the earth. And this product also consists of two bands. The first one that is called the very sensitive panchromatic visible near infrared band, called the VNIR band, and another one that is called the thermal infrared band as well. If you see the originality purpose of the nighttime satellite, actually they would like to see the reflectant in the lunar radiation from the cloud of the Earth at night. This is show the products of the DMSP image, but nowadays you can use the nighttime satellite imagery to monitor some application in terms of the urban zone, like you can estimate the population densities. By using the population density, you can use it as one of the input into the regional or the global population density kit. And after that, you can use it like one criteria or one driver to model the population number. And in terms of the economic analysis, you can see the clear correlation between the extent and brighter of the nighttime lights and also economic activities. Like you can find the correlation between the nighttime information that radiate from the DMSP together with the GDP of your country or GDP of each province, and after that you can find the correlation together. Several research also mentioned that the DMSP satellite image can get the good correlation in terms of the economic analysis. And other thing that you have to concern is the land cover and land use change. By using the DMSP satellite nightlight, you can study the global mapping of the urban land use and land cover as well. But in term of the urban plannings, The DMSP satellite nighttime can provide the information on the patterns of the developments and also form within the human settlements. It means that in the nighttime, you're going to see like along the road, you're going to see the light, and up along the road, you're going to see the lights, and in the urban zone, you're going to see the light from the house as well. That's why in this case, you can use it as the important information, or you can use it as one criteria for the is one of the criteria to monitor or to monitor the urban expansions or utilize it in terms of the urban plannings. And the other thing that is you can apply the satellite night light to monitor the anthropogenic emission to the atmosphere. Like in some area that have human settlement on that area, it means that it's gonna in the area that human situates, it means that human gonna be the source of some emission of the carbon dioxide concentration, or some of the human activities can produce the emission of the temperature on the earth surface. So in this case, you can use it to monitor. And I think that you can utilize the kinds of the satellite night light to monitor the anthropogenics and also the emission to the atmosphere. Like you can use it to detect the grass fires, like the poor quality of the carbon emission source in several areas of the earth. You can use it. And another thing, like you can use the nighttime satellite image to extract or to find the correlation between the health impact of the rapid urbanizations. In the urban expansion, like in the area that have the brings improved planning for the service and infrastructure developments, it means that if you can see that on that area have the night right have the right in the night, it means that that area should be the urban zone. If that area should be the urban zone, it means that you can find or you can conclude some information about the health quality impact of that area as well. And another thing that you have to concern is the effects of lighting on crimes. Using the nighttime image can provide information as sufficient spatial solution when you combine this kind of the information with the crime data. It means that several research they also link about the rise or the satellite night light to the number of the crime in that area. And after that, they find the interesting relationship between the lighting and public safety on that one as well. This is show the applications of the satellite night light in terms of the socio-economic analysis. In terms of the identifications of the urbanization pattern, using the geoinformatics based on spatial metric can get the information about the urban expansion pattern. The spatial metrics are the quantitative measurement which used to access the spatial characteristic of the urban area. In this case, you're going to use like the urban area, you're going to use the spatial metric to detect like shape and pattern of the urban area as well. Like you can apply the spatial metric to identify the shape irregularities of the urban area. You can identify the fragmentations of the urban area, and you also can apply the spatial metric in the urban area as well. In this case, you're gonna see like in that area have the diversification of the urban area or not. In this case, you can apply several metrics, like a class area, number of patch, mean patch size, also the edge density and mean shape index, and also the mean nearest neighbor to identify the urban spatial process. Like apply the spatial metrics, you're gonna see the process of the urban area, and then you can classify the process of the urban area into like that is the aggregation process. that is the compaction process, and also that is the disperse or isolation. So in this case, you're gonna see the patterns of the change in terms of the urban area in each step, in each time step, and that one you can also apply to identify the shape or the pattern of the urban area as well. This is show the result of the analysis of the Bangkok metropolitan region that I have done in terms of the spatial landscape, like using the spatial landscape metrics to detect the pattern of the urban expansion in Bangkok metropolitan regions. And after that, you're gonna see like the result from the apply the spatial landscape metric gonna get the improve gonna get the information in terms of the quantitative number, and you can link the quantitative number with the urban expansion theory, and they also have the strong correlation as well, this one. And the last one that I'm gonna explain to you, that is utilize the geoinformatic techniques to detect or to monitor the urban growth and landscape change modelings. Like using the urban model represents of the function and process, which generate the urban spatial structure in terms of the land use, population, employments, and transportations, usually embodied in computer program to enable the location theory to be tested against the data predictions of the future location pattern to be generated. The main objective of the model can classify into three parts. The first one is to indicate the observation informations and also the theory concerned as a system to avoid the understanding of the system behavior. And also the objective of the model is to predict the response of the system to the future change. And the last one is to allocate the certain resources in order to optimize the certain condition within the system. Urban modeling is a process of identification and appropriate theory, translating this theory into the mathematical or formal models, and develop the relevant computer program, and then confronting the model with the data, so that it might be validated and verified prior to use in the predictions. Nowadays, if you would like to classify the type of the urban model, you can classify into eight types, like from the basic one that is called the mathematical equation-based model. In that case, you're gonna get the result from the model that you can get just it's in the number. And also, if you have like a system model, like you can link based on stock and flow data and sets of the different equation depending on the function relation. It means that you can use it to predict the land use and land cover in the future as well. And the other technique that is called the statistic relation, like you can include in terms of the regression techniques by convert the data in terms of the spatial, in terms of the metrics, and you can find and you can test the correlation, and after that you can predict the relation into the future. And the other one that is called the expert model. By using the expert model, in this case, you have to combine the expert judgments along with the probability techniques to provide the occurrence of likely land use change into the future. And the other technique that you can use that is called the evolutionary model. Like nowadays, that is in the extensively use of the evolutionary algorithms and also the artificial intelligence model. In that case, you can use it as a platform to predict the land use and land cover into the future. And the other one that is called the cellular automata model. Like this is like the famous model that we always use it to predict the land use and land cover change. In that case, the cellular automata model includes like a cellular automata and Markov chain, and you can combine that one to predict the future land use and land covercast in both spatial and also in terms of the temporal aspects. And another thing that you can use that is called the hybrid model. The hybrid model is an integration method or the integration model. Like you can apply the evolutionary model together with the cellular automata. This one integrate together to get the better simulation result of the land use and land cover class. And the last one that is nowadays the last one that is called the agent-based model is quite complicated, and also that is the famous model that several researchers nowadays try to use this model to simulate the urban land use and land cover change into the future, because this model can provide a realistic scenario as well. This is show the example of the urban force model. Like if you want to go to the artificial life, you can use like a cellular automata such as the sleuth model, or you can use the agent-based models, or you can use the SWOT intelligent model like a ECHO or BECO, or if you would like to go to the intelligent stochastics optimization process, like this one, you would like to get the better parameterize of the artificial light model. Like in this case, you try to integrate the model. That is called the hybrid model. Like you integrate the sleuth model with the genetic algorithms. Like you use the genetic algorithm to calibrate the basis of the parameter for the sleuth model to predict the land use and land cover class. And another one that is called the evolutionary computations and spatial DNA. Like you can use the artificial neural network CA, or you can use the spatial DNA to predict the land use, the land cover in the urban zone. And the other one like that is called the knowledge-based intelligence system, like incorporate the fuzzy logic CA, or you can use like an expert system, heuristic search, also reasoning system to generate the future land use and land cover class. And the last one that is called the hybrid AI system as well. Before you go into the land use and land cover prediction, the first thing that you have to concern that is the driving factor, because the driving factor are the important factor to control the land use and land cover class in the future. To get the driving factor in this case, you have to consider about the real situation in the area that you have to predict. Like you have to concern about the geomorphology, connectivity, facilities, governments, demographic, socio-economic, and sustainability zone. And after that, you have to produce and convert that one into the map form. And then you have to include that map form into the model as the driving factor and analyze the driving factor. And after that, you're gonna see like which driving factor have the strong influence on the land use and land cover, conversion, and you can apply that one into the simulation result. And another thing that you have to concern nowadays to generate the future land use and land cover prediction, one thing that we always have to create that is called the scenario study. Like some persons they use like the project populations to be the first scenario for the urban land use and land cover prediction study. Or some person use the business as usual, like let the urban code expands as it expands continuously based on the original one. And also some person also set the scenario like to preserve the green area, to preserve the forest. Or some person also create the scenario like in terms of you can bring like the policy planning in your country. Suppose that if the policy planning in your country have set the goal that in this area you have to develop the agriculture, agriculture production on that area. It means that you have to promote the agriculture land on that area. So in this case, you have to set the scenario to fit the real situation as it should be as well. And I will go to the examples like by using the land use model. In this case, I try to incorporate the land use and land cover model that is called the land change modeler. Like I have the assumption that to predict the land use and land cover class based on the future population. So in this case, I select like the land change modeler as platform to project the land use and land cover, especially the urban area in Bangkok metropolitan regions. And this is show the result of the land use and land cover projection, like by using the CA Markov model in the upper left, and also using the multi-layer Perceptron Markov model in the figure B, and also use the extrapolation based on statistic functions, as you can see from the picture C, and also use the system dynamic. It means that in case of the system dynamic, I also incorporate with the future population projection from the national economics, like from the national economics sections of Thailand. National economic sections of Thailand, they also project the future population. In that case, I use the number of the future population as the primary key to project the future land use and land cover class. And after that, I also create the result. I also create the result of the future predictions of the land use and land cover into 2035, because Thailand also have the population projection into that year. That's why I also set the scenario of the future land use and land cover class to project into that year as well. This is the example of using the geoinformatics to apply and to monitor the urban growth. Yeah.
Okay, so thank you very much, Dr. Chudech, for your informative presentation. So you presented in a very clear and interesting manner, which will be very helpful for the researchers and students who are interested in the field. So now we welcome the questions from the audience. So this webinar is lively broadcasting on the RSGIS Facebook page and via Zoom. So we hope to receive questions from the both of these platforms. Okay, so may I ask the first question, Dr. Chudech?
Yes.
Okay, so this question is from the audience. So how we differentiate different features in processed image?
To differentiate different feature on the image based on the urban area. First of all, we have two concerns about the first of all, if we use the remote sensing data, the first thing we have to concern about the spatial resolutions. Like we have to select the spatial resolution that suits for the unit of analysis. That is the first thing. And the second thing that you have to concern, like if you would like to differentiate like the urban feature on that area, one thing that you have to concern is the basic experience of your in that study area. If you have the basic basic knowledge, like you go to the field before you classify the image, it means that you will get like the basic knowledge on that area. If you have that one, it means that you can classify the feature on the land use and land cover class theory. And the other thing that you have to concern, like sometimes to classify the image, one thing that you have to concern is select the appropriate spectral resolutions of the image as well. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, sir. So we have some questions from our side also. So one is like the travel route patterns or the transportation systems can be identified as the one of the key factors for urbanization, especially in the developing countries. So in this case, like how to apply this transportation system analysis with the geoinformatics for the urban growth monitor?
Actually, to monitor the urban growth based on the model, actually, if you have the transportation network, you can include it as a one driving factors of your model. That is the one thing. And another thing, the in a transportation network, before you apply into the model, sometimes you can use the spatial landscape metrics to detect the pattern of the load network first. And after that, you're gonna see the trends or the expand of the load network from the spatial metrics. It means that we're gonna get like a directions of the urban expansion into the model. Yeah. So in this case, you can use it together. And another thing that is important nowadays, some land use and land cover class, or land use and land cover modelings, they also have some optional, like if you have the dynamic load network, it means that you can insert the dynamic load network into the model. And after that, the land use and land cover modelings will include the accurate direction of the land use and land cover predictions.
Okay, so thank you. And our next question is like, so nowadays the UAV technology is very popular in various application areas, because since we can obtain both very high resolution 2D data and 3D information. So what are the advantages and disadvantages for applying UAVs for this kind of study?
That is a great question that I always listen from using the UAV technique to capturing the high resolution image. The first thing you have to concern about using the UAV, the first thing like you have to concern with the spatial units of the analysis. Like to capture the information based on the UAV, if you would like to make the specific planning, suppose that you have to recreate or make the spatial plan in specific area. The good advantage of the UAV is you can get the information directly by your site, and you can get the information without to wait the satellite image to come to take or capture the information at that time. But the advantage of the UAV, like if you study in terms of the spatial unit of the analysis, is quite big area. So in this case, you have to manage the way to capture the information using the UAV. And another thing that you have to concern is the temporal resolutions as well. Like if you have the emergency planning, like if you would like to concerns about the rapid planning in that area. So in that case, using the UAV gonna have the most advantage to utilize that one. Yes. And nowadays the UAV can generate like the 2D or 3D informations. To construct the information from the UAV in terms of the 3D image. In this case, after you adjust or remove the error from the image by using the photogrammetric approach, it means that you can construct the 3D, and after that you can see like you can construct the 3D and visualize the 3D informations of the built up area in the urban as well. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, sir. And our next question is like, so even though high resolution remote sensing images are available in most areas of the world, like the population data or land use data or other socio-economic data may be not available in the same resolution or in the same accuracy. So how to deal with this problem?
Actually, this one also have the, how can I say, the famous, actually it's not famous, but we always get this kind of the informations as well. To analyze the data, sometimes like the unit of analysis is not the same unit. Like how can I say, in Thailand, if you would like to incorporate the population data into the land use and land cover modelings, the basic or the high resolution information that can we get into the model. It's just in the district level. But in terms of the satellite image, we can get like the 30-meter resolution. So in this case, due to the different resolution of the spatial data or spatial database, some research mentioned that you have to analyze the resolutions of the study area. It's gonna go back into the scale of the study as well. If you would like to analyze this in this spatial or in this scale, which one is the best set of the which one is the best resolution of the study unit? Like if you would like to predict the land use and land cover in terms of the provincial level. So in this case, I have tried to run the spatial resolution like 100 meter, 200 meter, and 300 meter. And after that, I have to see the effect of the different resolution on the simulation result as well. This is one thing that we have to do, like make the sensitivity analysis before we apply in the real simulations.
Thank you.
And then, so these days, like the machine learning and deep learning techniques are very popular. So how to implement machine learning or deep learning techniques in the field of urban monitoring to improve our results?
Actually, the field of the machine learning and also the deep learning, are the famous algorithm or the famous techniques nowadays. As you can see from the image classifications, they try to implement like the machine learning, like artificial neural network, and also deep learnings to extract the information in terms of the high resolution image as well. In this case, if you apply that one, sometimes you're gonna get like a more accurate on that one. But in terms of the land use and land cover modelings, as I mentioned, they also try to integrate like the machine learning, like evolutionary process, like a genetic algorithms, and also the artificial neural network. In case of the genetic algorithms, we use the genetic algorithm to couple with the CA model, or we, as I say, like the salute model, like using the salute model, you have to find the basis of the parameter for the model as well. So in this case, you can use the genetic algorithm as the machine learning to optimize the basis of the parameter for that model. And in terms of the artificial neural network, like we can use it to generate the transition potential model. Like you try to train the data, and you have to train the data based on your information that you have, and you use the artificial neural network to create the output of the data to generate the transition potential. This is the way that we use in the urban land use and land cover predictions. Yeah.
Yes. So actually, thank you very much, sir, for your very clear answers. But unfortunately, due to the time limitations, so we have to conclude our webinar session now. So finally, again, thank you very much, Dr. Chudech Losiri, for giving us your valuable time. So we all had a very fruitful session today. And also I want to thank all the organizations of this session, especially Dr. Chitrini and Dr. Sani. And finally, I thank you very much for all the participants who joined with us today via Facebook Live and also via Zoom. And we are looking forward to see you all again in our next webinar session. And you can contact us at any time from our email address rsgis@ait.ac.th, or you can directly message on our Facebook page. So thank you again for everyone, and see you all. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.